Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you calmed down a little bit. I have calmed down slightly. I think yesterday, as much as I don't want to apologise for the way that I ranted, particularly about Nicolas Jackson, who we're going to talk about at great length today. I don't want to be the channel where when Chelsea lose, I'm calling everyone prats, idiots, stupid. But I will say this. Jackson yesterday acted in an incredibly idiotic manner, and as much as I'm not going to say Nicolas Jackson all by himself has cost Chelsea the Champions League, I'm not saying that because Leicester did us a favour against Forest. With 2 matches to go, Chelsea still have it in our own hands. If we beat Man United and we beat Nottingham Forest, we will be playing Champions League football again next year. So I just want to say Chelsea got lucky this weekend. Arsenal held, Man City held, Aston Villa won, Newcastle won, and Forest also held. So the defeat, as bad as it is to lose 2-0 to a team that we were level on points with, we are still in a position here where we can make this work. And I want to talk today about actually why, in my opinion, I've been thinking about this and looking at the potential team that we could face or put out, against Manchester United and Forest now. And I actually think we're going to do better as a result, maybe, of not having Nicolas Jackson in the team. And I know that all season, right, we're going to do a review of Nicolas Jackson's season because his season is over. Ladies and gentlemen, that red card that he got yesterday means that he won't be playing the last 2 games of this season, and he also misses the first game of next season because it's a straight red card. That's a 3-match ban in the Premier League. When it comes to Jackson this season, these are the stats that we're looking at. 30 games played in the Premier League, 2,220 minutes, 10 goals, 5 assists, 69 shot-creating actions, 10 goal-creating actions and 2 goals in 2 games in 90 minutes in the Conference League. Then, if we go over to SofaScore, these are the attacking metrics that I want to look at here. 10 goals from an XG of 12.34. A striker that is playing at Chelsea Football Club should not be underperforming XG 2 seasons in a row and still be the lead striker in the following season. For me, yesterday was the nail in the coffin for Jackson, for himself, for actually being Chelsea's striker next season. I think everybody knows that we were going to go out there and try and buy a striker, but now it's obvious, 100%. There's no questions about this. If we take a look at the rest, big chances missed, 19. 19 big chances missed this season. That puts Chelsea in a title race, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not exaggerating. 19 big chances missed, and that's only from our striker. And if we're taking a look at the shots, goals per game 0.3, only 1.2 shots on target per game. So realistically, our striker is only in a position where he's hitting the target, which is how you score, 1.2 times a match. And if that is the case, then you're expecting every time he hits a shot on target for it to go in. And clearly, as these stats prove, he's absolutely not doing that. Goal conversion percentage is 13%. These numbers are simply not good enough. And yesterday, obviously in the post-match 6 Things reaction video, I was talking about the attitude, how unnecessary it was to go in with that elbow in the first place. There was no jeopardy in the moment. Chelsea weren't going to be under threat as a result of Jackson not doing what he did. So it was idiocy, complete idiocy. And the problem that I have with this is it's when the team needed him most is where he didn't show up. So we can look at these metrics here, 19 big chances missed, 13% goal conversion, and nobody can defend this if you're a team that want to be challenging for honours. And this is why it's so essential. After what we saw yesterday, Nicolas Jackson's 23. I know that I said he's just a kid and people were like, no, Benson, he's nearly 24 years old. He should be better than this by now. Absolutely. So is it the fault of the manager, or is it just the player isn't at a level that's good enough for what you would expect and what Chelsea need? And I think it's a bit of everything, to be quite honest. But what the club need to recognise here is that in these pressure moments, right, you've got a squad of players that's the average age, 23, 24 years old. You need people that have got experience to be able to dig deep. You've got people or need people to be able to dig you out. And whether or not yesterday, Maresca doing the Lavia, Caicedo flipping inverted thing, maybe you don't do that against the big boys away from home. Teams that are going to be aggressive like Newcastle. And we'll get onto that a little bit later in the video. But the Nicolas Jackson issue, I don't see, unless the club do go and buy this flipping man right here, I don't see how you rectify it by going out there and buying a 21-year-old Liam Delap, a 20-year-old Ekatike, or however old he is. Look at these stats from Osimhen. Like, there's a reason I'm obsessed with this guy. And when I talk about him on GBFC, let me zoom in on this even more for you guys to look at here. Top 1% for non-penalty goals this season. Unbelievable. Shots, 7.31 shots per 90 minutes. And I know he's playing for Galatasaray, but these numbers have been right up there for years, even playing in Serie A with Napoli. You've got touches in the attacking penalty area, 10 in the attacking penalty area. Chelsea yesterday, I don't know why we did this, and this is why I've got to question Maresca slightly, because all season long, we have been harping on about, do we always have to play these short goal kicks? And the one day where you've got a 6'7" Dan Burn to defend these long balls, where we finally are like, you know what, we're going to try something new. We're doing it against the tallest centre-back pairing in the league, I think. That might not be true, but Dan Burn is 6'7". Why are you giving Nicolas Jackson all of these high balls in this game? Make that make sense. So as much as I'm not going to sit here and just say, well, Maresca doesn't deserve any blame here, I'm certainly not going to blame Maresca yesterday too much, because I actually think he set us up really well in the second half, and I thought we were the better team in the second half, despite conceding again in the 90th minute from Bruno. But Nicolas Jackson's petulance yesterday has inevitably cost Chelsea that game, because if we do manage to have 11 players out there on the field, 1-0 down, Chelsea were always going to have their moments. But again, we're crossing and crossing and crossing into the box. But this is Victor Osimhen's stats. Aerials won in the top 8% of forwards in the world. Progressive carries as well. Shot creating actions. Compare that to this man here, Nicolas Jackson, who's leading our line right now. Shot creating actions 2.89. What have we got for Osimhen? 3.65. Granted, it's in the Premier League, this for Nicolas Jackson. Aerials won. We're talking the bottom rung. It's a red bar. 0.86 aerials won per 90 minutes compared to Osimhen winning 4.24. So you're telling me that our wingers are going to keep crossing it in the box? To who? Yesterday to no one, because he got sent off. But all season, this isn't about yesterday anymore. It's about all season long repeating the same patterns and nobody being on the end of it. 19 big chances missed. Aerials won, only in the bottom flipping 17% of strikers. It's appalling. It's absolutely appalling, and it isn't up to the standards necessary for a striker at Chelsea Football Club. So I know that I keep harping on about Osimhen. Like, if you watch him again, Galatasaray at the weekend, header, goal again. Like, it's everything Chelsea actually need. People will be like, oh no, he doesn't fit our style of play. Do you watch us play? We cross the ball in the box all the time. And we've got no one to score headers, corners, all season. Can't defend them. Can't score from them either. For me, it shone the light so bright on why Chelsea cannot go out this summer and invest in another young striker. You need someone ready-made, because you put a ready-made striker in this team that does create chances and opportunities, and we will score loads more goals. And if you score loads more goals, sorry to talk to you all like you're stupid here, but this is more directed at the people making decisions at the club right now, because it's clear as day. You score more goals, you win more matches, you get more points, you play in the top competitions, you might win things. Basic footballing equations here that we are dealing with at Chelsea, because we don't have a bad team. And Enzo Maresca, I've never been so impartial right now in terms of how I feel. I've said it all along. If he gets Champions League, well done. Win us the Conference League, good season, well done. Deserve credit, a lot of credit for that. But we're not there. And yesterday we saw again, what's the right word I'm looking for here? Naivety. Eddie Howe in the first minutes of the game, outsmart Maresca, and we didn't find the solution. Or we didn't have the solution because we've got young players that are still too incompetent and not ready for the big occasions. How are Chelsea ever going to prepare for the big games if we don't have big game players in the team? We've got some, but they need to be all over the pitch. We need a goalkeeper that's going to be absolutely leading from the back line. And this is where I now lead into, we've got the solution for what we think it should be moving forward. And let me know what striker you want in the comments down below. I know a lot of people are going to say Isak, but then even he didn't do anything yesterday. But the solution now, between now and the end of the season, now that Nicolas Jackson is unavailable, Mark Yu probably isn't going to be fit enough to just jump straight back into Premier League football. Maybe he is. I hope he is, and I hope he does well, because I like Mark Yu. I think he's a good player, good little player. But the solution is to put Reece James back in at right back and stick Cole Palmer back on the right wing, Enzo Fernandez playing behind Pedro Neto. Put Cole Palmer back on the right wing. Put Reece James back at right back. Let him get forward, up and down. And yes, we're not going to keep cross, because Neto isn't renowned for winning headers. But at least get Palmer back into the position where he doesn't constantly be having to be dropping deep all the time to try and make something happen. Because yesterday, as much as Chelsea had control in the second half, weirdly, with 10 men on the pitch, we didn't create that much. We've got to play to the strengths of who we've got in the team now that Nicolas Jackson isn't available. Funnily enough, now that we're actually going to see probably Reece James back in at right back as a forced change to the lineup because Jackson's now come out, I don't want to see Palmer playing through the middle. Neto showed that he can actually do it. So put Palmer back on the right. He scored a hat-trick against our next opponents last season from that very position, I believe. At least towards the end of the game, he was playing out there. So Chelsea now, it's still in our hands. Somehow, it's still in our hands. Aston Villa aren't playing that well, but they keep winning. They've got a great manager, and they're going to look at this like it is European knockout football, which Unai Emery is the master of. So they're going to keep grinding. They've got Tottenham and Man United, two of the worst teams in the country. And they're not going to be giving any... Villa are going to win both their games. So Chelsea have to win both of our matches. And I'm sorry that I spoke the way I did yesterday. I watched it myself and I'm like, oh, Benson, come on. Like, you can do better than that. You can articulate yourself significantly better than that. But it was idiotic, to say the least. It really was. And we now need to dig deep. We now need to understand our situation. And it is the fact, I'll bring this up again, that Nicolas Jackson, our striker, who's led the line for the last 2 seasons, missed 19 big chances in the Premier League this season. It's outrageous. That is too many. And again, underperforming his XG for the 2nd season in a row. Chelsea need a clinical elite bagsman. We don't need another young striker that needs to evolve, that needs to adapt, that needs to develop. Because that's what puts us here. That's why we're not already confirmed as a Champions League club. Wake up. Smell the coffee. It's so obvious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below here, but I'll put the stats up once more for you. This is the flipping guy Chelsea need. He's on the thumbnail. He's on the tip of my tongue every flipping video that I make. It's just get it done.